Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a week of Linux news for the 27th of August 2017. Well, bank holiday weekend in the United Kingdom, so yay, 3-day weekend, and I've actually started recording this video before the weekend, so don't know what it's going to be like yet. Well, first up in the news this week is crowdfunding for a new Linux phone. Librem 5, a security and privacy focused phone from Purism, the same group that makes PureOS. A Debian-based Linux distribution that looks like it uses GNOME for the default desktop. So they have a funding goal set of $1.5 million and have so far raised $45,000 with 60 days to go. Well, that is a bit more feasible than the Ubuntu phone, which they do actually mock in terms of their funding goals later on in the article. So Librem 5, the phone that focuses on security by design and privacy protection by default, running open source software and a Linux operating system designed to create an open development utopia rather than walled gardens from all other phone providers. Yeah, good one. Freedom-orientated system based on Debian and many other upstream projects has never been done before. We will be the first to seriously attempt this. Well, good on them, good on them. Since the Ubuntu phone has been abandoned now, well, maybe someone else can have a go. I don't know, I kind of worry about it because Ubuntu was perhaps the best shot at getting, I was going to say Linux onto mobile phones, but yes, Android is Linux, but no, okay. Another Linux operating system on mobile phones. So some screenshots of what they would like to create. So it's a 5-inch mobile phone, and we have a bit more about the specs. So world's first ever IP native mobile handset, end-to-end decentralized communications via matrix, CPU separate from baseband. So the specifications are continuing to get pinned down and will not be finalized until after the campaign ends. So please share what you'd like and we will evaluate all design feedback that aligns with our beliefs. Put KDE on there. So the CPU will be an IMX6 or IMX8. So enabling the path for a true convergence device capable to work as a phone, making video and audio calls, encrypted messaging, email, web browser, that will become a full desktop computer with an option for a compatible keyboard, mouse and monitor. It can be a desktop computer and phone all in one. Yeah, convergence. And that looks like the GNOME desktop. Yeah, I thought it might be. So a bit more about the specs. So it's got a 32GB eMMC drive, micro SD slot, camera front and back, headphone and microphone jack. Not doing an Apple then. USB Type-C, and in terms of sensors, GPS accelerometer, gyroscope, compass, ambient light and proximity. With hardware kill switches for camera, microphone, baseband and Wi-Fi Bluetooth. Interesting. They set out a timeline and some stretch goals. And like the last one, 32 million fun goal, we did it, polite reference to Ubuntu Edge goal. Well, Google has announced what Android 8.0 is going to be, and it will stand for Oreo. And you can get a scroll down and see some nice little animation. So double the speed and boot times measured on a Google Pixel. I'll be timing you in that case, since I have a Google Pixel now. Yeah, I ended up having to upgrade my old Nexus 5 after it suffered battery bulge, so I have moved to a supported phone now. Unless Google kicked the Pixel to the curb already, which wouldn't surprise me. Not that someone's bitter or anything. So autofill remembers your logins to get you in your favourite apps at supersonic speed. Yeah, remembers your passwords, very nice. Picture in picture. Interesting. Dive into more apps with fewer taps. Notification dots, press the notification dots to quickly see what's new and easily clear them by swiping them away. Android instant apps. Teleport directly into new apps right from your browser, no installation needed. And keeping on the subject of Google, spyware backdoor prompts Google to pull 500 apps with more than 100 million downloads. And this is from Ars Technica. So 500 apps contained an advert development kit called Igexin, which makes it easier for apps to connect to ad networks and deliver ads that are targeted to specific interests of end users. Once an app using a malicious version of Igexin is installed on the phone, the developer kit could update the app to include spyware at any time with no warning. The most serious spyware installed on phones were packages that stole histories, including data about phone calls, and it also included GPS locations and lists of nearby networks, as well as lists of installed applications. So I believe Google will be forcibly removing applications from any devices that have them installed. And we have a few different subjects of applications, including games targeted at teens, weather applications, internet radio, photo editors, educational, health, fitness, travel, emoji, and home video camera apps. So in terms of development on Ubuntu 17.10, which is codenamed Artful Aardvark, it is now using the Wayland session by default. That's if your graphics card is capable of working with Wayland. NVIDIA proprietary drivers are not, so I don't know what this will be like. Oh well. So it will still have the option of falling back to Xorg. The Linux installer framework, Calamares, has seen an update, now up to version 3.1.3. It doesn't look anything too impressive in this release really, some more translation updates. But one thing I hadn't realised here was that Blue Systems sponsor Calamares. This is a company that donates a lot to the KDE project, and I believe they financially support Ubuntu and Linux Mint KDE. There's a blog post about some updates to Kstars, an astronomy program built more for the KDE desktop. I did have a look in the KDE Neon repositories, and yeah, you can get it to a pretty new recent version. Can't remember if it was exactly 2.8.1 or 2.8.0, but yeah. I'm sure with KDE Neon I have the most hope of getting the latest release. So, the 2.8.1 release of Kstars introduced the Hierarchical Progressive Survey, HIPS, with 3 sample catalogues in the optical, infrared and gamma regions of the electromagnetic spectrum. Now users can browse from hundreds of online HIPS surveys and enable them for overlay in Kstars. Everything from radio, infrared, optical up to gamma rays is available with a short description on each survey of interest. Since these surveys literally take hundreds of gigabytes of storage space, they will be downloaded on demand and stored in local cache. And you can change some of the cache settings depending on your system resources. I might have to take a look at that application, it does sound quite interesting. ChromeOS will eventually have an automatic red-tinted nightlight mode. So another Linux desktop gains this ability. So we already have this in GNOME and KDE, as well as the option of installing Redshift for any Linux desktop. So it does look very familiar to the GNOME layout, so you can set the colour temperature and schedule for the Redshift to occur. From Torrent Freak, the Windows App Store is full of pirate streaming applications. I did have to laugh at the irony of this. So, in recent years, streaming piracy has become a popular pastime for millions of people. A lot of this takes place through rogue websites or dedicated pirate devices, which are often scolded by the movie industry. The problem is not limited to unauthorized platforms alone. Though as the trusted Windows App Store is full of widely used piracy apps as well. So some of the many pirate apps in the trusted store. I'm just looking for popcorn time to see if that's on there. No, it isn't. It's just what are those? A few different streaming websites, aren't they? So most of the applications work on multiple platforms, including PC, mobile, and the Xbox. They're pretty easy to use and rely on familiar grid-based streaming interface most sites and service use. Pick a movie or TV show and click the play button and off you go. And there's even a screenshot provided in the Windows App Store. Yes, that looks very legal, doesn't it? Oh, no wait, it doesn't. And for this week's stupid news comes from the Orlando Sentinel. Car theft suspect pulls over to watch Eclipse and gets arrested. Well, I had to go with some Eclipse news really, didn't I? So, a man suspected of stealing a car was arrested on Monday after he pulled over to view the eclipse. Orange County deputy sheriffs from the auto theft unit were following Joxon Felicino Rosando, aged 22, when he parks a car at Harper Freight Tools on the Oskalona Parkway near Kissimmee. After buying a welder's mask to view the eclipse, Rosando walked back to the car, put the mask on and started looking up at the sky. While Rosando was wearing the mask, deputies moved in and arrested him. And there's a side note here that welders' masks are not approved eclipse viewing devices. Oh really? But being techies, we did have one option for an eclipse viewing device. Old floppy disks. Yeah, I've used those before and they're very effective. Well, that's a week of Linux news. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all later.